Welcome everybody, this is Wargamer Shawn. I'm here to bring you part 3 of the, we finally have the book, Wrath of Magnus, Warzone Fenris. So we're going to go into part 3, which is going to cover the Demons of Tzeentch, and their, it's called the Pandemoniad of Tzeentch. This is kind of their Decurion. Everything gets the Decurion name because the Necron's Codex is the first one to have it. So, so the special rules are: this detachment must include at least one core choice, one auxiliary choice, and it may include up to 3 command choices and any number of additional core or auxiliary choices. Every model in this detachment must have the Demon of Tzeentch special rule, and only the data sheets listed here can be included in this detachment. Ephemeral form models from this detachment add 1 to their invulnerable save to a maximum save of 3 instead of re-rolling rolls of 1. And then Master of Fate, in this attachment as your primary, you can re-roll the result of the Tzeentch Warlord traits table seen in Warzone Fenris Curse of the Wolfen, and they can re-roll the result when rolling for Tzeentchian Warpstorm table as well. So just automatically get that versus having to take Fate Weaver. The adding 1 to the invuln save, but you just have to remember that you don't get to re-roll ones for save, I think is good. You know, so most of your demons are going to be 4-up invulnerable save, which isn't bad, and then your, you know, things like Fate Weaver are going to be better. So there's a couple different basically things that we're going to go through here. Let's go through the Warp Flame Host. Sorry. This might be, I might have to dig out my, yeah, I think it, oh, this is, sorry, this is from Warzone Fenris Curse of the Wolfen. So it includes the Changeling or a Herald of Tzeentch, and then 9 units chosen in any combination. So Pink Horrors, Flamers of Tzeentch, Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch. So that's from the last book, the Wolfen book. The other core choice is the Lore Stealer Host, which is the Blue Scribes and then 3 to 9 Blue Horror units. Now that is in this book, and the special rules are units from the Lore Stealer Host reroll failed to hit and to wound rolls of 1 when attacking Psykers. Units that contain any Psykers and units with the Brotherhood Psyker, Psyker, Sorcerer, or Psychic Pilot special rule. I mean, it's okay, although the Blue Horrors you don't probably want to get into close combat anyway because they're strength and toughness too. Empowered by knowledge, if a unit with the Lore Stealer Host is within 9 inches of an enemy Psyker, or an enemy unit with the Brotherhood Psyker or Psychic Pilot special rule, then add 1 to the strength of all hits caused by any Witchfire powers that they manifest during that phase. This effect is cumulative with any strength bonuses gained from Exalted Locus of Conjuration. Now that's decent, although you do have to be within 9 inches of a foe, which means you're open to getting charged the next turn. So if you're going to use this, you better make sure that hopefully with all of your concentrated fire, you're going to destroy that unit that's within 9 inches of you, because you're not going to be able to take it back in return, because remember, you have you know, demonic instability. Now you do have a 4-up invuln save, so there's a chance that, you know, you're going to save half of them, but they're probably going to get hurt pretty bad. The next one is a command choice, and that's Lord of Pandemonium, which is one of the following. It's either Kairos Fate Weaver, Lord of Change, a Demon Prince, or Herald of Tzeentch. And then Omniscient Oracles, that's Kairos Fate Weaver and 1 to 3 Lords of Change. Now that is in this book. This one's pretty cool. Kyra's Fate Weaver and the Lords of Change from Omniscient Oracles can reroll rolls of 1 when making psychic tests, to hit rolls, or to wound rolls. In addition, whilst all models from this formation are on the battlefield, you can choose to reroll any failed attempted seize the initiative roll and any reserve rolls. That's pretty powerful, and honestly, I mean, most of the time, let's face it, unless, it depends, but unless you're going to get, like, just drop potted to death and you don't have first turn, most of the time, you want to be on the board and, flying around. So, now remember, the new FAQ went into effect, and these newer books are kind of talking about that. I am going to review, I just got the Planet Strike book that I'm going to review, and that actually does talk about, reviews, renews some of, like, the Stronghold Assault, like all the terrain pieces, and it specifically says that monstrous creatures and vehicles, unless they're 25% covered, don't get cover saves. So even with the toe in cover, you're still getting hit with these monstrous creatures. Something to think about. So that's the command. Now the auxiliary choices are Agents of Tzeentch, which is one of the following: the Changeling or the Blue Scribes. The Forge Host, which is from the Curse of the Wolfen, 3 Soul Grinders of Chaos. Now, the cool thing about that is that's 3 Soul Grinders of Chaos, which is awesome because Soul Grinders are good. But now you get to add the +1 to the Chaos Demon save. So now you've got a 4-up invulnerable save on Soul Grinder, which is already tough to kill. I really like that formation in this demon list. Brimstone Conflagration, which is 1 Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch and 3 to 9 units of Brimstone Horrors. Now that's in here. Malicious Self-Immolation. At the start of any fight subphase, you can choose for any units of Brimstone Horrors from the Brimstone Conflagration to consume themselves in flame. At the start of the subphase, declare how many Brimstone Horrors you wish to sacrifice. For each model you have chosen to sacrifice to inflict D3 Strength 4 AP 4 hits with Warp Flame special rule on each enemy unit locked in combat with the Brimstone Horrors. Then remove the sacrifice models from play. You can sacrifice the whole units if you wish to. If an enemy unit makes a successful charge against a unit with the Brimstone Conflagration that is within 9 inches of its Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch, then all models in the charge unit must take a dangerous terrain check. That's not that great, but being able to sacrifice the Brimstone Horrors for Strength 4, AP 4, D3 hits with all units involved with them, you could smartly play that right, especially if people forget about that rule, because they're only Strength 1 and Toughness 1, so they're going to die. Now, they would have a 4-up invulnerable save, but sometimes sacrificing them like that, especially if it's not a kill point mission, would be the way to go to kind of help, help maybe win the battle or that close combat. So I think it's got its pros and cons. My opinion, anyway. All right. Burning Sky Host. Now this one's from Curse of the Wolfen. It has the Blue Scribes or Herald Tzeentch, and then the Herald Tzeentch has to take a disc, and I think I'm sorry, I don't have the book right in front of me, but I think they might get the disc for free, or maybe they just have to take it. And then 9 units chosen in any combination from the following list: Screamers of Tzeentch or Burning Chariot of Tzeentch. I mean, most people would want to take the Screamers, and I mean, they're good units, solid units, and especially, once again, remember, they've got a 4-up invulnerable save. That's pretty big. So, overall, I don't think the Pandemonium of Tzeentch is bad. I think overall, changing the psychic power so that pink horrors and blue horrors and brimstone horrors don't have access to malefic powers does hurt them a little bit, because it does decrease the amount of summoning they're going to be able to do. Now, that being said, that's going to affect every demon army that's relying on pink horrors to summon stuff, because this rulebook changes the way pink horrors work across the board. That replaces the demon ones in the demon codex. So everybody that wants to play pink horrors is not going to be able to summon stuff with their pink horrors anymore. So that's a big change. And depending on what the FAQ says, like it says right now with pink horrors, over 10, so 11 to 15, you generate 2 warp charges, and then 16 to 20, you generate 3. It says warp charges. I think they're being specific about it. So that sounds like you don't get 2 and 3 powers like you did in the previous edition with the previous rules. You just get more warp charge, which that further nerfs the pink horrors too. So it does kind of nerf them a little bit. Being able to generate blue horrors and brimstone horrors are cool. One, though, you have to have the models. The problem with that is that both blue horrors and brimstone horrors don't have model boxes right now. You have to buy the Silver Towers game box, which I think comes with 4 blue and 4 brimstones. You'd have to buy a whole bunch of those boxes just to get a squad of 10, which is a little ridiculous. I'm assuming within maybe the next year, the new year, they're going to come out with a box set for these. I mean, they need to. I would imagine they would. I mean, why wouldn't they if they're trying to sell the model? So that's the one problem I see with it right now. Most people don't have them. Now, some of us, like, excuse me, I have some blue horrors from back when blue horrors were a model in their old metal models, but I don't have a ton of them, and certainly not enough to make even a 10-man squad, or let alone a 20-man squad. And I don't have any brimstone horrors because they didn't really exist before, so I didn't have a model for them. I'm excited to see them. I'm more excited about the Thousand Suns because I think they have, really, people have been excited to get rules or more playable rules for them. But it would be fun to have these guys kind of, ally in, or, potentially just play Tzeentch. As far as Chaos Gods go, Tzeentch is probably my favorite, just because I think of that Chaos God is, I guess I don't like the word scheming, but that's what he's doing. But I think of him as more of a thinking man's god, where he, is thinking about things before just going headlong into battle and just chopping things like corn. He's not really about excess for like pleasure, like Slaanesh and Nurgle. He's not really like that either. The funny thing with Nurgle, and I'm getting totally off subject here, is Nurgle's shtick is that he's supposed to be rebirth and death, but like if you notice in the fluff, he just concentrates on decay and rot and death, but he's also about renewal and also about rebirth. So it's a little bit like I wish GW either wouldn't have said that, or they would kind of address that more, because he's not just the god of death. But he's cool too. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this section. I will come at you with section or part 4, and we'll start on the Thousand Suns. I'm very excited about, and we'll come at you next time with that. Until next time, keep on wargaming, guys. Hopefully, we'll get these videos up.
Goodbye, you sexy motherfucker.